Hey, Kevin in Colorado, aka your Tesla pilot, and of course we are talking about
Tesla.
That's right, special edition. Today was Battery Day, coming to you from Fremont, California itself. Wow, traveled this morning, left Denver, got here early, grabbed the Uber, took it to the hotel where I'm currently at, dropped off the suitcase, and off to Tesla headquarters I went. And I tell you what, they had plenty of support people. It was really, really cool. We walked for about probably about 2/10 of a mile, and they had a parking lot like a drive-in movie theater, just a little bit less than 300 Tesla vehicles between Model 3, Model Y. I didn't see any X's, but it looked like mostly 3s and Ys. So out of the 277 cars that were actually in the lot, I drew lucky number 243. So I was in the rear in a white Model 3 with black interior and wood trim. I did not care for that wood trim, but hey, they had the big screen. I'll put lots of pictures in this video. The big screen, obviously with Elon presenting off the top of that. But the skinny of it, we're gonna cover the entire event. This Battery Day event was sponsored by the Tesla company. I believe this actual Battery Day event was actually sponsored by the Boring Company, because that's exactly how it came off. Boring, flat. Elon knew he had to come with a compelling story.
It's going to be a very compelling story that we have to present
To the shareholders and to the people, and I just think it absolutely fell flat. We'll go more into depth and the detail on those points as we go through today's video.
Well, like I said, we're going to talk about this on Battery Day, which is probably April, and then a lot of these questions will be answered. I think it's going to be a very compelling story that we have to present.
Not only was it not a compelling story, it seemed very disorganized. With a company like Tesla that has a 400 billion market cap, I expect their marketing people and their PR people to be spot on. I expect at a very minimum with their technology. It wasn't like they didn't know Battery Day was coming. They delayed it for 5 full months. They had 5 full extra months to prepare for this presentation of Battery Day. Now I get it, there's technological glitches with anything, but with something to this magnitude where all you're doing is simply bringing in the voice from presenter into the car directly via modular system. The slides on his screen didn't match the slides that were in the car. It was low energy. They should have minimum had a practice of at least 3 separate occasions, probably 2 with non-VIP talent, and then the very final run through with Elon himself with a presentation and having appropriate feedback. So not up to par for a professional Tesla company organization. It came off not amateurish, but I will say once again, very flat, not polished whatsoever, not a good sell. If that's one thing that Elon could take away from Trevor Milton, who obviously 2 thumbs down with Nikola and his scam. Of course, he's out now, but maybe a little bit up on the energy and the sell part, and explaining what it is that you're trying to get to and where we are going with Tesla. There's no timelines. That was very, very disappointing. It was just like, hey, sometime between now and 2030, we're going to be kicking off these batteries and making these improvements. So what I wanted to see, I guess where I was disappointed, and I wasn't expecting them to cure cancer, I really wasn't. But I wanted to see was one picture would be like a cool Tesla car. The other picture right next to it on the screen would be an ICE vehicle, internal combustion engine, like a Ford or a GM mock-up. And every single point that Elon and his team made on their way to sustainable energy using batteries and how they're making electric vehicles better show another ding or damage on that ICE engine as it's getting more beat up by the electric threat, the electric justification of why you should go buy electric and why it costs less for you to operate. I want to see that in a timeline and a cost figure, and none of that was presented whatsoever, which is really crazy. And all this hype when you talked about the 1,000,000-mile battery, and the 1,000,000-mile battery was either never mentioned once during his entire presentation, or I was so tuned out by the lack of energy and a bunch of things like terawatts and gigawatts and this wattage and that wattage flying over my head. And guys, I'm one of the nerds that's deep down into Tesla, so it was going over my head from some of the reports that I read. I can only imagine what it was like for the average shareholder to hear this information. Disappointing. I want to hear in your comments, did you watch Battery Day, or you're like myself, my new buddy Dr. Dan from North Carolina that was currently at Battery Day. What was your take? What did you get from Battery Day and the live stream? I want to hear all that in your comments down below. Let's discuss it. So I completely sold out of my position in Tesla during Battery Day due to the sub-nominal performance of the presentation.
A special alloy of aluminum that has high strength without heat treat and is very castable. So that's a great achievement of our materials team. In fact, in general, we've got a lot of advanced materials coming for Tesla, that new alloys and materials that have never existed before. So, so you're basically making the front and rear of the car as a single piece, and then that then interfaces to what we call the structural battery, where the battery for the first time will have dual use. The battery will both have the use as an energy device and as structure. This is absolutely the way things are done. In the early days of aircraft, they would carry the fuel tanks as cargo. So the fuel tanks actually were quite difficult to carry. They were like basically worse than cargo. You had to kind of bolt them down. It was very difficult. And then somebody said, "Hey, what if we just make the wing tanks? What if we just make the fuel tank in wing shape?" So all modern airplanes, the fuel tank, your wing is just a fuel tank in wing shape. This is absolutely the way to do it. And then the fuel tank serves as dual structure, and it's no longer cargo. It's fundamental to the structure of the aircraft. This was a major breakthrough. We're doing the same for cars. So this is really quite profound. Effectively, the non-cell portion of the battery has negative mass. So we save so much mass in the rest of the vehicle. We save more mass in the rest of the vehicle than the non-cell portion of the battery. So it's like, well, how do you really minimize the mass of a battery? Make it negative. Make the battery non-cell portion of the battery pack negative. It also allows us to pack the cells more densely because we do not have intermediate structure in the battery pack. So instead of having these like supports and stabilizers and stringers and structural elements in the battery, we now have a lot more space in the battery because the pack itself is structural. What we do is essentially instead of having just a filler that is a flame retardant, which is currently what is in the 3NY battery packs, we have a filler that is a structural adhesive, as well as flame retardant. So it effectively glues the cells to the top and bottom sheet. And this allows you to do shear transfer between the upper and lower sheet. Just like if you have like a Formula One craft or like a racing boat, and you have carbon fiber face sheets and say aluminum honeycomb between them, this gives you incredible stiffness. And it's really the way that any super fast thing works is you create basically a honeycomb sandwich with two face sheets. This is actually even better than what aircraft do, because aircraft do not do this. They can't do this because fuel is liquid. So in our case, the batteries are solid. So we can actually use the steel shell case of the battery.
So I completely sold out my Tesla position during Battery Day while I was sitting in that Model 3 during the presentation. I just watched the stock continue to go down. I got out about an average price of $420. Now, before I get all your hate mail, I completely still believe in Elon Musk. I still completely believe in Battery Day. I'm wearing a Tesla hat, had a Tesla mask on. I'm wearing a Tesla shirt, big bull on Tesla. In the short term, it's gonna be some rough patches. I'm looking to jump back in around 355 or lower. And long term, Tesla's gonna be fine. Short term, we're in for a ride. What did you do with your Tesla stock? Are you holding? Did you sell? Well, that'll be a wrap for Battery Day. May all future Tesla presentations go off much better. So now I guess I wasn't there for Thomas Day, but I heard it went off bad. Battery Day went off bad. And the market will be the judge when it opens up tomorrow. I think we're in for a long week, and I think Tesla will lead the tech sector lower tomorrow morning. Hold on, we're in for a bumpy ride. Here I am at Battery Day walking toward the yellow line. My father's watching from Hawaii, and I'm going to give him a salute on the camera. And there it is.